that shit up, Shay.
From industry news to mobile technology, leaks, and rumors, we cover tomorrow's tech news today. eSIM Tech News.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
What is going on? Thank you for joining me today. But computer struggling, I guess. I got a gazillion Chrome tabs open, so maybe I should close a few. But thank you for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. Going to be a quick one. I got to get out of here in about 20 minutes. So got some news articles. We're gonna got some topics we are going to discuss. We got the Google Pixel. Typed up an article, did some research on the Google Pixel roadmap. So what is Pixel going to be working on Pixel 10, Pixel 11, and got some very interesting news. A kind of like out of this world idea, right, from one of the most richest guys in the world, which is pretty cool, but it involves tech. Excuse me. And what else do we have? Got some interesting nothing news for you as well. So thank you for joining me Sunday afternoon. This is eSIM Studios podcast, live stream episode number 247. We are part of the Just Content Network. I have some really, really cool websites I'm working on. I know I got this one that we pull our news from right now that we're going to get to. I'm going to do a screen share here in a second and look at the news. I'm working on a badass website, like new redesigned. It looks very appealing, very cool, very modern. The one I have now is just something I could use basically. But this next one that I'm working on in the background, so that's why I haven't been able to watch any football. I've been catching some of the replays, the condensed versions. But I'm so busy. I got to make a website for a new eSIM Studios website. I got to make a Just Content Network website. Just Content Network is like the parent company. And then I have eSIM Studios podcast. I have Just Tech, Just Travels, Just Recaps, bunch of different subsidiaries underneath the Just Content Network. So I have to make a website for the Just Content Network with each subsidy, each little independent entity underneath it. So I have a lot going on. So that's why I got a gazillion Chrome tabs open. I'm building websites and doing this and doing that. So anyways, long story short, very busy, as I'm sure you are as well. So we'll get to it here. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday today. Let's see here. Let me pull up eSIMstudios.com. That's where we're going to get all of the info from. So let me go ahead and share the screen and let me roll into this. There we go. Okay. Now, give me just a second. I'm always rearranging this. I think I did this last time. Screw it. We're fine. I was going to change the layout, but that's all good. Anyways, so we did have news. Intel is coming out with a newer generation. We'll just briefly go over this. New generation Intel Core i7. So it's their new generation. It's the 240H. It's like you know how they used to do, like, you see down here where it says Core i7 13 or Core i7-13. That's their 13th gen. And their one before that was Core i7-12 something. That was their 12th gen. Well, they kind of redesigned and renamed their flagship series, kind of like Qualcomm is doing. It's hard to follow along, I know, but the next generation Core i7 is about to be launched. Now, it has similar performance. You would think with each generation that these CPUs get, that they would just every year increase 30%, 40% year on year on year, and that's not the case. Now, it's not that they're almost focusing their attention on the NPU or AI capabilities. So it's still going to be a strong performer in benchmarks, but they're redirecting some of that performance increase, some of that performance gain into the neural processing unit, which handles all of the AI crap. But if you want to read that article, be my guest. I have information on the new Intel Core i7-240H that will be in basically a lot of laptops. Basically, let's see, in the year 2025, right? This is going to be their flagship CPU. I know you can get the i9, but most high-end rather, I shouldn't say high-end. Most let me put it this way: most laptops around $1,000, brand new, are going to have this Core i7 in it. Now, let's see here. Xiaomi. Interesting. We discussed this last week, right? So Xiaomi is making, so to break it down real quick, the U.S. government is putting a lot of restrictions on any business that does business with China, right? And when you get into the tech world, it's tough because Xiaomi is a Chinese-based company. They are using TSMC and Snapdragon products. So the U.S. government's putting pressure on TSMC to not do any business with any Chinese companies, which include Xiaomi. Which in Snapdragon, who they've used for their CPUs, is an American company. So the U.S. government is basically going to force Qualcomm to cut its ties with Xiaomi, which is why you see them designing and generating and creating their own CPU. So it'll be a Xiaomi-made CPU. Interesting. They're actually going to use, and remember, this was one of the missing pieces of info when I introduced this story last week. We didn't know who was going to make the modem, right? Was Xiaomi going to try to do the modem? I doubted it because Apple's been designing their own modem for roughly 8 years, and they're just now going to put their very first gen modem in the SE4 here this upcoming year. So I was like, nah, they probably don't have the technology. Those take years to develop. So they're going to source MediaTek and their 5G modem. MediaTek, if you don't know, not only do they produce CPUs, right, which is in this tablet over here, and then nothing phones over here, they produce Wi-Fi chips, network adapters for personal computers, right? Tower computer PCs, laptop PCs. You can buy MediaTek Wi-Fi chips, M.2, network adapters, all sorts of stuff. So MediaTek actually, I think, has been in the modem game longer than they've been in the CPU game. So Xiaomi is going to tap MediaTek's 5G modem, and MediaTek makes very good modems. Probably right on the top of the game. I'm not saying the very best because I think Qualcomm is probably. Now, when I say very best, I don't mean overall in sales. They've sold the most. I'm talking about as actual performance, real-world performance. Qualcomm is probably right up there, but so is MediaTek. Very, very good move by Xiaomi to tap into MediaTek's modem business right there. Now, if you're in the market for if you want to get into the ARM chipset with the new Snapdragon X Plus PC, Copilot PC, this is a good. I was looking to buy this one, but they took forever to release it. It's the Acer Swift 14. It's got the Snapdragon X Plus. In my opinion, that's the best one to get. It's still fast as hell. It's just not as strong as the X Elite, but don't let that fool you. You get longer battery life. It's still very, very strong performer. It's just barely under the X Elite when it comes to performance, benchmarking numbers. That's what I got in the HP OmniBook X. I love it. Very snappy, very fast. Battery life is outstanding. So that's the one I am looking for. If I were you, that's the one I would be looking out for. So if you do need a new PC, new laptop, this is a really good one. It's got like an AMOLED display, 3K display, 120 hertz refresh rate, and it's at a pretty good price. So I have that there. But let's get into the big news, right? So, I'll say big news, but the future roadmap for Pixel. So, speaking of CPUs, right? Here's the thing. I think we need to put a blanket or maybe extinguish some of the excitement we were having, or at least I was having for Google's new CPU, because it looks like as we get closer to the new year and a new Pixel and a brand new CPU, everybody knows this upcoming Pixel 10 will have the very first Google made CPU. And it does, as we get closer to the launch, it looks like we should not expect outstanding performance gains. It's not going to be up there with the MediaTek 9400, even 9300, which is their flagship CPUs. Not going to be up there with the Apple A18, or I guess next year 19 Bionic chips. So not going to be up there with the Snapdragon 8 Elite CPUs. It's not even going to be as strong as the 8 Gen 3, or shall I say 8 Gen 2, which would be out for 2 years. Now, this is something us Pixel users have come to get used to, should I say, unfortunately. Look, the performance is just not there, but that's overall raw performance. Does it operate fine? Does it do all the tasks I need it to? Does it move between apps here and there? And does it do everything pretty snappy? Yes. I wouldn't be able to tell. Now, again, I don't game, so maybe that's where it sort of falls short in the CPU world. But the upcoming performance of the Tensor G5 CPU, which will be in the Pixel 10, and the upcoming G6, which will be in the Pixel 11, trust me, they've already manufactured them and they're already testing them. But the performance gains are just not there. Now, I don't know internally if they're striving for performance gain, like 30% over year performance gains. But it looks like, as I mentioned at the beginning, they might be, and they've said this before, so, they're putting their focus in the NPU, neural processing unit, for all these AI capabilities. Now, I say that because it looks like they're going to focus on more software, refining the software, the AI features inside these Pixel devices, rather than blow you away with these benchmark numbers. So even just 6 months ago, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this new CPU. You should see, 20-30% performance gains just from this TSMC made chip. And it's not going to be the case. You're going to see minimal improvement. If you benchmark the Pixel 10 and the Pixel 9 that we have right now, the upcoming 10 and the current 9, I think it's basically going to be the same on paper or on these benchmark testing. Now, we'll get into some of these features, but I almost wonder if Google should have gone back to Qualcomm, or if Google should go to MediaTek. Honestly, I mean, that's a fair question, right? I mean, I'm not crazy for thinking that. I know you have more control over your CPU, over the code. But one thing I've found literally over the last couple of weeks where my Pixel does struggle, and I know it comes down to raw performance, because again, I do not play game. I do not have one game on my phone. is video editing. So I've actually been editing videos on my iPhone these last 2 weeks because the Pixel lags behind, honestly. The Pixel lags behind in video editing. When I jump on the iPhone, it's smooth as butter. When I get on my Pixel to edit videos, it's pretty choppy and just lags behind. And that's just raw. That's just lack of raw power, right? That's just what it comes down to. But I wonder, I guess time will tell. I guess time will tell if this is going to be a good... I mean, I guess, look, ultimately, yeah, it's a good thing, but not being able... I mean, I can edit videos on my Pixel. It's just a pain in the ass. And I was thinking yesterday, because I went back on the Pixel, I was like, well, maybe I need to update my apps. You know, maybe I need to do this. Maybe I restart it. Maybe I hadn't restarted my phone, and I normally do, but it was just... And I was like, maybe it's the app. Let me try another video editing app. And it's the same thing. I tried 3, and it's all the same on all 3. So that's a lack of raw power. And it had me wondering yesterday, damn, man, I wonder if I don't know. It's a $1,200 phone. And I hate to say that, but it's beautiful. And minus that, if you don't edit videos, if you don't play games, you should have no issues. But I've found a couple of issues editing videos. But let's see. So it looks like on the Pixel 10, they are going to focus on software. So this Pixel 10 series will introduce video generative machine learning capabilities, integrating generative AI into Google's video editing features. What do you know? So we will, at the very least, they need to make sure their phone can edit videos without being choppy and slow and lag behind. And the audio, when I add audio or add music, it's off cue, off of my lips, so it looks like I'm doing gibberish. It's a complete mess right now for video editing. I jump on the iPhone. It pains me to say this. It's smooth as butter. And I was like, Jesus Christ. There is talk about night and day difference. Holy crap. I'll just leave it there because it hurts me to say that. So this new specific feature, these details on their video generative machine learning capabilities, reminiscent of Google's Magic Editor for photography adapted for video. This could enable the removal of unwanted background elements in videos, right? They teased that last year, with potential availability within the YouTube app for YouTube Shorts as well. That's been a big gripe of mine as well. Google owns YouTube. Google owns Pixel. Why doesn't Google have a... Well, I'll save that. I'll save that question. Okay. So there's additional reports in this new Pixel 10, 4K 60 frames per second HDR video. It's an upgrade from the current 30 frames per second. So you will see a promising video, not only editing, but video in the camera, right? Recording videos and editing videos. So it's a major improvement that I hope we will all see, promising superior image quality even without AI enhancements. We know they're going to have sensor upgrades in this Pixel. Pixel 10 plans for a sketch to image feature, sort of like Samsung has. You will see that here in Gemini in the new Pixel 10. Let's see. The G5 in the Pixel 10 is a modest upgrade from the Pixel 9's Tensor G4. Now it'll have new Cortex cores. It'll have 5 new Cortex cores. It'll have 2 remaining cores from the Pixel 9 series. It will be a slightly faster in multi-threading applications. Everyday performance, you may not see a drastic improvement. The GPU will get an upgrade. Imagination Technologies will provide that, so it should help. And it is enabled for ray tracing capabilities, which is more geared towards gaming and stuff like that. So with a projected performance increase of 14%. Now, that's in AI processing. We will see when it comes. Best believe we're going to be getting a few of them. Just have to wait and see, right? But I think the bigger, if there is any, so not extreme excitement. I'll be excited, but I'll be excited to get a new Pixel, right? And we just got these, but this is a big one. Now, you will see more improvement, more growth in the Pixel 11 series. Now, going back to the 10, hang on, because we might see a design change, we might not. So I think on the Pixel 10, this upcoming Pixel 10, barring any significant modifications to the phone's design, display, or specs, the Pixel 10 appears to be an incremental upgrade over the Pixel 9. So that means, I believe, it'll look similar to what they have now, and it'll get internal updates. And trust me, these companies, Google, Samsung, Apple, especially Apple, very, very clever, very smart with how they introduce a new phone, but it looks the same. Apple does that shit every year for like 6 years. So basically, they know how to spread out these, because they want to, when they're launching a new phone, they want to say, hey, and showcase a certain feature, a certain new specs, new hardware, new design. They don't throw everything all into one and say, here's our new phone. They like, no, we can just stretch this out a couple years. And that's what Apple's done for years. Google has done that. So I think this upcoming year, it'll look the same as the Pixel 9. They're just going to promote the new CPU. And then all these new AI capabilities are all new Google-made CPU, blah, 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 blah. Pixel 11, I believe you will see a slight design change, not a total retransformation. But I think you'll get more of a design change on the 11 than the 10. Now, getting into the 11, the Tensor G6 processor stands out as an area of interest. So you will see GPU initially intended for the canceled G4. I don't know why they're going backwards, but in the GPU department, maybe it was too strong. Like, I don't know the backstory there, but we do have signs that they are going to implement a GPU that was meant to be paired with the Tensor G4 on the Pixel 9 series. This will involve the loss of ray tracing capabilities just a year after they introduce it, alongside planned reductions in the digital sensor processor and system level cache to conserve the valuable silicon space. Don't ask me why. I found that information and to put this article together. Again, I don't have. There's obviously a reason for it, but I don't know what the reason is. Doesn't make sense, but we're not behind the scenes, so I don't know. The G6, Tensor G6, will transition to TSMC's next generation Node 3 process, featuring a single unannounced ARM Cortex-along 6 A730 core. So this will be a completely redesigned CPU. The smaller 7-core CPU configuration will benefit from enhanced architecture performance and efficiency. So we will have to see. It's supposedly going to implement a new nano TPU, tensor processing unit. It's anticipated to support more niche featured health related features, including monitoring of breathing, coughing, falls, sleep stages, with additional perks for runners like coachable pace and balance and oscillation analysis, whatever the hell that is. Again, you will get more AI features, right, and functionalities implemented into the Pixel 11, and I'm sure every year that continues. So the Pixel 11 is expected to feature 4K 30 frames per second cinematic blur in a new video relight option for post-editing. Lighting documentation suggests the introduction of a ultra low light video capabilities and potential for a 100x upscale zoom for photographers and video. Let's see. Now, hardware change includes the addition of a second USB Type-C display out for the Pixel tablet. So I don't know if we got into the Pixel. So the Pixel tablet, which we just unboxed, Here's another thing that frustrates me about Google. They're always canceling stuff. They're always changing this. They're always changing that on the fly. It's hard for enthusiasts like me, like you, to keep up with everything. Like this is basically my job to keep up with all this crap, and it's hard for me to keep up with it. They're always canceling this project. Oh, let's start this project. 18 months later, it's canceled. Oh, let's name this flagship product this. 2 years later, oh, let's change the name. It's like, what the hell is going on over there? It's frustrating. So they got this Pixel tablet we just unboxed. It's basically 2 years old. Well, there's a leak that we're going to bring them back. So Pixel 2 Tablet 2 and Pixel Tablet 3 in the works last week. No, change that. We're going to cross out the Pixel Tablet 2, but we'll have the Pixel Tablet 3. That's still on par. I'm not going to put anything in stone until we see that thing launched. I'll believe it when I see it, but apparently the Pixel Tablet 2 not going to be released. Pixel Tablet 3 will be released. We'll have the Tensor G6 CPU in it. So that'll be released alongside the Pixel 11, right? But you can read all the other interesting details we have here. That's just for the next 2 years. There's more, but I didn't want to spend too much time. I've already wasted enough time on this topic, but I did want to get to, I'll put the link in the video description. Check this out. Have y'all seen this story? Very cool. Wait, before we get to the main one, let me do this. So, surprise, that benchmark leak that we all reviewed last week about that new Nothing Phone 3, it doesn't look like a 3. In fact, it doesn't even look like a mid-range phone. Scores, and after doing some more homework, I'm like, damn, those numbers are really low if it's going to be a flagship phone. So I think the benchmark scores that came out last week for the proposed Nothing Phone 3, I think it was for their maybe a new CMF phone too. Like it's got, or a bottom of the barrel low range, not even a mid range. I think it'll be their lowest of the low mod. I'm sure it'll still operate fine, be fast and snappy. It's just raw performance is not there. But I was like, there's no way they're putting that in the Nothing Phone 3. Well, guess what? We got news that they're going to release 3 phones in 2025, 3 models. So there was a tipster on X. There are 3 new phones from Nothing under active development right now. Now, here's the catch. Is that a CMF phone 2? Is that the Nothing Phone 3 and Nothing Phone 3A? Probably. If I had to guess, that's what I'm guessing. So I think Nothing is releasing 3 phones is technically true, but you got to remember CMF. So I think this is the CMF Phone 2, Nothing Phone 3, and Nothing Phone 3A. Now, other than that, we don't have much to go off of. But all you Nothing fans out there, I've gotten a lot of comments and a lot of viewers in India that love that watch my. You can actually on YouTube, you can go in the analytics and go to each video and see where these views are coming from. If you go look at my Nothing videos, a large majority of them are in India. So those of y'all watching in India, appreciate it. Stay tuned to the channel because trust me, I'll probably get all 3 of these phones. So we'll cover a lot of Nothing stuff here. But let's get to this real quick. So have y'all seen this? Mark Zuckerberg plans to build a $10 billion subsea cable spanning the world. What the hell does that mean? Meta is planning to put in internet cable, fast fiber optic, thick fiber optic cable, probably 3 foot in diameter, meaning from if you lay a cable on the ground where it touches the ground to where the very top of the cable is about 3 feet. So it's a big, thick cable. It's going to carry, and it's going to be the new fiber optic. I don't want to get too nerdy, but it's a new gen of fiber optic cables. Meta wants to lay internet cables at the bottom of the ocean and basically link all the continents with this cable. So every continent in the world can have internet access. Now, is that could be a good? I think it's a good thing, but you could obviously see where not necessarily a bad thing, but they've been known to collect a lot of data. They've been known to not necessarily, I don't want to say spy, but they've been known to collect quite a bit of data. So depending on how this kind of rolls out, and we don't really know their plans with this, Mark Zuckerberg did mention this, it came from his own mouth, that they are planning on doing this. Like the plans are actively in motion, which I thought is, man, that's really cool. You know how many lines that'll take? So check this out. I have a chart down here, a graphic. So it will start in Virginia Beach. Let's see. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, is the second largest contributor to global internet usage. Jesus. Its platforms together has billions of users, and 10% of all fixed and 22% of all mobile traffic is using at least one out of those three entities, Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp. That's a lot. So they want to ensure dependable infrastructure to support their apps, their services. So Meta is opting to manage its network all by itself. So instead of depending, because what basically companies do right now, whether you're an internet company, whether you're a small company like myself, I tend to use just basic stuff, but basic internet services. But when you're a big company, when you start, and then you don't even have to be as big as Meta, but when you get to a certain size, you can use Amazon AWS, Amazon Web Services, for your web hosting, to handle all your web traffic, security, keeping you online. And you can also use Google as well. And then there's a third. I can't remember. The two biggest by far, and they take up large majority of business and internet, and not just business, but a large majority of the internet is handled, and websites are handled by Amazon and Google. So Meta is basically going to lay down this internet cable and connect the whole world. It appears just to support themselves, which I think in the long run is a good idea. $10 billion is a huge investment, but imagine what their internet bill is to Amazon for web hosting. They got 22% of all mobile traffic in the world. It's got an investment of $10 billion right now to lay down this internet cable so you can have your services connected to every continent. Will probably save them money operating their own network, operating their own infrastructure. Will save them money in the long run, right? So it'll cost them $10 billion now, but if they stayed with Amazon Web Services, AWS, over that, they may spend $10 billion in 10 years, right? So laying this foundation is key for future foundations of their company, right? Because it may cost them $20 billion over the next 10 years, or 20 years, just for Amazon Web Services. So it's a big investment, but I think it will save them money down the line. See what I'm saying? Years down the road. So sources familiar with Meta have confirmed this project is already started and in the initial stages. While plans are underway, physical assets have not been established yet, meaning they haven't started laying the cables yet, but I think you can't start laying the cables without planning for it and getting everything in line. Plus you have to get EPA, you got to get environmental clearances, and but they've already mapped out where they can put this long cable, right? If the strategy is executed, it may take years before the cable becomes fully operational. This is a huge project, particularly as there are only a limited number of companies such as Subcom capable of developing and laying the infrastructure at the bottom of the ocean. And these companies already have significant clients like Google reserving their services, right? Because Google has so many data centers around the world. They got to connect them all, right? Some are in the water. Some are underwater to help with the heating issues. right? I watched a YouTube video a couple weeks ago. Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are all actually starting to put data centers under the water to help with heating. The water cools the data centers, right? And they got to connect them through cables. So there's a real tight supply on cable ships. A submarine cable, meaning not a submarine like a navy, but a actual below water cable industry, said is a real tight supply. They're currently expensive and booked out for several years in advance. Identifying available resources to expedite the project poses a challenge. One potential approach could involve constructing the cable in segments. According to sources, the proposed route would extend from the U.S. East Coast, right off of Virginia Beach. I'm going to enlarge this picture in just a second. And it's going to go to the coast of India, to South Africa, and then back to the U.S. West Coast, from back through India again, passing through Australia, creating a W kind of shape around the world that will connect all the continents in the world. So there's a new, let me click on this real quick and I'll show you since we're talking about it. So as you can see here, going to start in Myrtle Beach, right? And look, you can get this one cable connected to Myrtle Beach in the United States and North America. Now, you can also run cables on land, right? But you have to connect the continents that are not connected together. But the ones that are connected, you can essentially hook them up through cables on land. Meaning, if you started in Virginia Beach right here, just because you don't have it connected to South America doesn't, or Canada, right? Or Greenland up here, or Iceland doesn't, or what is that? Greenland above Canada, whatever. You can connect that with cables on land, but connecting, so you can have a cable go from Virginia Beach all the way down through Mexico to South America. But you have to have a cable underwater to connect North America to Africa, right? Because there's no piece of land here that you can run a cable to. So you have to go underwater. They're going to go to Cape Town, South Africa, and they are going to connect the African continent. Then they're going to go up. They're going to go northern. I guess they're going to have to connect, what is that, Tanzania down there? Well, they can probably use a cable to connect Africa and Tanzania, but they're going to run it up to India right there, which will connect the Asia continent. Then it's going to run down to Australia, and I'm sure all of these I'm sure all of these Southwest Pacific islands like Indonesia, Thailand, New Guinea, I'm sure all those will be connected through little split offs, right? Little splices of this network. And then it's going to go back up to, it looks like Eubanks. What is that? Oregon, it looks like. So it'll go back to the West Coast. So it'll start on the East Coast, Africa, India, Australia, and then back around the globe to the West Coast of the United States. Pretty cool. Let's see here. How do I get back? Now, I have, as I mentioned, there's a new fiber optic cable. Excuse me. I'm not going to get into that. That's super nerdy. I actually got to run right now. But if you want to dive into even more information on this it's a really cool project. For those of y'all that like just random technology stories but are really cool, and like this is a huge task. Now it's not groundbreaking, meaning it's been done before, right? They have cables running underwater, but nothing to this scale, right? This is literally connecting the whole world, and essentially on one big ass cable. So I think it's pretty cool. So, and I'm not the biggest fan of Meta, but look, I'm going to keep an eye on this because I think this is cool. So if you want some more information, I have detailed information on the new fiber optic cable, the new gen fiber optic cable they're going to be using. That's on there as well. I'll link everything in the video description here. Just go to esimstudios.com and you can find that there. But I'm going to run. I do appreciate the time. Thank you for joining me today. I do really appreciate it. Please stick around. We have a lot of content to upload for y'all, and tomorrow's live stream every day 3 p.m. Every day 3 p.m. Hold me to it. I'm going to go live 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That'll be the new daily live stream time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will see y'all tomorrow. Please have a really enjoyable rest of the day, rest of the holiday weekend. If you are on the road, please, I know there's a lot of people driving home today, so please drive safe, and join us tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel, because whenever we do go live, you will get notified and you can join in on the convo. So I do appreciate it. Peace out, drive safe, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.